A reading from the Gospel of Luke. The rulers sneered at Jesus and said, "He saved others, let him save himself, if he is the chosen one, the Christ of God." Even the soldiers jeered at him. As they approached to offer him wine, they called out, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." Above him there was an inscription that read, "This is the King of the Jews." Now one of the criminals hanging there reviled Jesus, saying, "Are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us." The other, however, rebuking him, said in reply, "Have you no fear of God? For you are subject to the same condemnation. And indeed, we have been condemned justly, for the sentence we received corresponds to our crimes. But this man has done nothing criminal." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied to him, "Amen, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." On the feast of Christ the King, it's fitting to focus on a sign printed above Jesus on the cross. "This is the King of the Jews." This sign is printed in all four Gospels. Although being worded slightly differently, what is common to all of them is the wording "King of the Jews." As a result of being written in all the Gospels, scholars rate this sign printed above Jesus as highly probable to have been historically verifiable. However, what does it mean from those who put this sign on the cross? Who exactly was it who put the sign on the cross? As historians pointed out, crucifixion was a form of punishment reserved for those who committed treason against the Roman Empire. Ergo, the sign would have been put up from someone in the Roman Empire. And as the Gospels communicate, Pontius Pilate is the one responsible for putting it up. And why would he put the sign up? It's because it is what Jesus is charged with. So it's not placed there in a positive sense. It's written in a pejorative sense. It's mocking Jesus. It is ridiculing him while simultaneously indicating the charge of sedition and treason. This might seem strange because we hear Pilate in the Gospels claiming that Jesus is innocent to the point that he even washes his hands of crucifying Jesus. From the perspective of a biblical historian, this would be problematic. The fact is that Pilate was nowhere near as nice as the Gospels claim he is. In real life, he wouldn't blink twice at executing a Jewish revolutionary. Furthermore, knowing that this all takes place around Passover along with an increase of Jewish people in Jerusalem, this creates more potential for unrest, causing Pontius Pilate to have to leave his headquarters in Caesarea and travel to Jerusalem and stop any potential rebellion before it starts. As a result, knowing Pilate's character in general, forcing him to come to Jerusalem instead of his comfy hometown of Caesarea would most likely make him really pissed off even before arriving in Jerusalem. So when Jesus turns over the tables in the temple, Pilate's standing orders would be to remove a threat as quickly as possible. Any challenge towards Rome would be met with a swift resistance. So when we see the sign, "This is the King of the Jews," it's mocking and ridiculing Jesus and tells us why he was being put to death for treason against Rome. Pilate isn't communicating that Jesus is innocent of the charge. Moreover, he is saying that Jesus is guilty of treason against the Roman Empire.